Welcome, everyone, and especially our visitors, to this gathering hosted by the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green. My name is Valerie Brown. I'm a longtime member, and I'm really happy to see so many people here in the congregation and online for this really rough, rainy, but beautiful, I guess we can look at it that way, days. So that we can be present with each other through this service. Please set your cell phones to silent. We are a welcoming congregation. Whoever you are, however you identify, wherever you come from, and whoever you love, you are welcome here. Our Sunday services are different each week so that we can honor and learn from our wide array of traditions and beliefs. Today, our speaker is Diane Lewis, also a long-term member, who will be reading an adaptation of Guest at Your Table sermon by the Reverend Mary Catherine Moore, and she was president and CEO of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. So this should be a really good introduction for some into the service committee, and for others it's a tradition. Though we walk our own path here in this place on the land of the Osage, the Cherokee, and the Shawnee, we journey together as one community. For Unitarian Universalists, the flaming chalice is a symbol of the light of learning and the love of our community. This morning, our chalice will be lit by Christine McKee. We light this chalice, remembering and honoring our tradition and celebrating the rich diversity of traditions among us as we search for justice, meaning, and purpose. May we remember that justice, meaning, and purpose live first in deeply listening to one another. Jamie Austin will be giving our opening reading.
Choose to Bless the World by Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger, praise what is sacred, do the work of justice, or offer love.
Thank you, Jamie. Next, we will have our hymn.
There'll be
This morning, we will have our membership ceremony. So I'd like to have our board president, Christina Kruger, and Richard Thornton to come forward.
Good morning. As I spoke in our current newsletter about this church family, and it makes me extremely excited that we have new members of our family joining us today. So, Richard, you want to get us started? Oh, well, okay. Do we want to bring everybody else up, or? Okay. Well, I thought we'd get everybody else, okay, whatever. So if you can, everybody should have got a little slip with the new member pledge. So if you will just follow along with me. The act of becoming a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green is a public statement that you have found this to be your religious home and to embrace your covenant. A member accepts responsibility for continuing and sharing the faith journey that brought them to this place and for living in community with others whose journeys may be different. We will now join in affirming our shared covenant. We, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green, hereby promise to live in harmony and civility with awareness, tolerance, acceptance, and celebration of our diversity. We commit ourselves to enthusiastic support of our fellowship and of the Unitarian Universalist tradition through our individual gifts and talents.
I'd like to hold your applause to delivered ones out here. Christine McKee, if you'd come forward, and Jamie Austin. Right up here next to me. Christine, you stand there. There you go.
All right. As president of this congregation, I greet you today on behalf of this gathered community, not only as new church members, but as new friends. We welcome you to our community and look forward to the future as we learn, grow, serve, and support one another through the joys and sorrows of life. As members of this congregation, we will all endeavor to grow spiritually, create community, and do the work of love and justice in the world. Will you join us in this work? Will you speak the truth as you understand it with courage and love? Will you endeavor to support this congregation financially and with your time, energy, and creativity? Will you support the ministries of this congregation, knowing that it's up to all of us to ensure this community remains vibrant? Members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green, please rise and embody your spirit. Having heard the promises of these new members and knowing of their desire to join in covenant with this community, will you, the members of this congregation, welcome them joyfully, care for them in their joys and sorrows, and encourage them in their spiritual lives? Yeah. Right. Welcome.
Hang on. Now we will have a time-honored tradition in all Unitarian churches and have them sign the membership book. Please print your name and then signature and date. And welcome to the membership. It's the 21st.
21st.
Give our new members another round of applause.
They also get one of our cookbooks. So when we start potlucks again, which hopefully won't be too much longer, they will have some ideas. Welcome. So glad that you are now in membership. We will now have a few moments for meditation, reflection, and prayer. The singing bowl will lead us into silence. Afterwards, by video, we will have Spirit of Life. Message will be guest at your table, and we will start with a video, and then Diane will be speaking for Reverend Mary Catherine Morn.
Did you know that Unitarian Universalists have been coming together for decades to support human rights through the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee's Guest at Your Table program? During this special program, UUs of all ages learn more about important issues and the groups, or partner organizations, UUSC works together with to advance human rights. Working with community-based groups like UUSC Partners is a great way to get help directly to folks after disasters like a hurricane, and helps make sure the needs that are most important to communities are being met. UUSC works with more than 50 partner organizations around the globe, together responding to humanitarian crises, gender-based violence, persecution of activists, climate change, and more. Guest at Your Table is a chance to get to know our partners and these issues better through learning the stories of 4 people connected to UUSC partners as if we were sharing a meal together. They are the guests in Guest at Your Table. After getting to know the guests, UU spread the word about human rights and raise much-needed funds for UUSC partners. From supporting youth leadership trainings to amplifying their voices to world leaders, to buying needed supplies after a natural disaster, our partners request our help with all sorts of projects that make a difference in their communities. Through Guest at Your Table, Unitarian Universalists form a mighty web that helps support UUSC partners in their important work. Thank you for helping keep this important tradition going strong and joining us in the Guest at Your Table program.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming out on this rainy day to our annual campaign, Guest at Your Table. The theme for Guest at Your Table this year is Now is the Time for Courageous Change. And I will be reading a sermon written by Reverend Mary Catherine Mourn, President and CEO of UUSC, entitled Power, Partnership, and Change. We are at a rare time in history when so much is revealed by the rapid change and disruption of this moment. What is revealed is not anything new. What is revealed is what too many of us have managed not to see. Even as we've understood, as Dr. King reminded us, that what affects one affects all, many of us turn away. I believe not because we don't care, but largely because we underestimate our power. And then often those of us with various forms of privilege get comfortable, and our gaze remains fixed toward truths that soothe us. The shaking of so many foundations around us has forced us to see so vividly, much more than many of us ordinarily see. Horrific inequity. Systems designed precisely to maintain castes among us. The complicity of silence and the seductive comfort of our perceived powerlessness. These times are urgently calling on us to remember and use our power. That's right, power. Did you know that UUSC's mission includes an affirmation of the inherent power and dignity of all people? For Unitarian Universalists, repeating the beautiful words of our first principle, it's easy to read right over the small but significant difference. It's not denying inherent worth, that's implied, but the addition of power is significant. At UUSC, we affirm the inherent dignity and power of all people. The power of compassion that demands our hands and minds and hearts be engaged in fulfilling the promise of human dignity and worth. The power of faithful imagination, the refusal to give it to the cynicism and powerlessness that tyrants and empires depend upon to thrive. These times are urgently calling on us to remember and use our power. Do you see it? Your power? Can you sit up a little straighter? Take a deep breath and feel your power. I'm afraid you're not buying it. Because often I don't either. Especially these days. These days, I'm feeling pretty small and less able than ever to accomplish things. The roar gets inside me and I feel so alone. I feel fear and grief and powerlessness. Okay, shake it off. I'm not asking you to deny those feelings, but to see something more. We've come here today because we know that religious community will hold us when we feel small and alone. Community will call us back to the power that we each carry, that we recognize in each other. That That is called out from us in community. We show up. We are here together today because we believe in that ministry. Our shared ministry will comfort us and confront us, will call us to our power. I invite you now to call the name of someone who has reminded you of your dignity, your worth, your power. And now call to mind memories of the power that has arisen from communities you are a part of, from this congregation. Prophetic witness in the larger community calls for justice and healing. Actions that were part of moments that brought about actual change. Friends, you have what you need to create a better world. We have what we need to enact courageous change. I am deeply inspired every day by the fierce power of grassroots partners who are at the heart of UUSC's mission. We believe and know from experience that partnering with communities most deeply impacted by injustice is the most faithful and the most effective way to contribute to a better world. This is what UUSC's Guest at Your Table program has been highlighting for decades, offering us the chance to learn more deeply the stories of 4 of our grassroots partners. These guests invite us each year into more profound solidarity with them and the communities they serve. On the left, our partner, Axel Fuentes from the Rural Community Workers Alliance, or RCWA, is organizing food processing factory workers in the Midwestern United States. They are tapping into their power to demand safer working conditions that honor their dignity. Myra Dagapo, a member of Karen ethnic minority, next on the screen, and director of the U.S. Campaign for Burma, is drawing on her experience as someone targeted by the Burmese military junta as a child to bring attention to the crisis happening in Burma today. She advocates for Burmese, ethnic minorities, and pro-democracy demonstrators with a vision for a peaceful country. Our partner, Maina Talia, from the Kiona Island Community Organizations in the South Pacific, is working to make the communities of Kiowa Island resilient to the forces of climate change for the sake of future generations and to serve as a refuge for those living on neighboring islands with lower elevations. Our last guest this year, Christian Guzman Merlot, is co-director of UUSC partner Fundación Entre Mujeres, or FEM, organized by and for rural peasant women in Nicaragua. The intersectional approach of FEM, seeing the connections between healing the land and healing the wounds of violence against women, offers a profound and necessary model of justice for the world. I am so grateful for what I learn every day about fierce power from UUSC's grassroots partners, such as Axel, Myra, Maina, and Christian. People who experience the intimate violence of oppression every day and still know their dignity and power. People who lead the way in enacting courageous change. These times are urgently calling on us to remember and use our power. We have what we need to create a better world. I want to thank all of you connected with the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, those of you who have given over the years the shared work for justice with your financial support. UUSC is a member-supported organization. It receives no funding from the UUA. They cannot do this work without you. I hope that today's service inspires every one of you to become part of UUSC's justice-loving, justice-seeking community. So I'm going to ask you at the end of the service to take one of our collection boxes home with you. And throughout the holidays, in our gratefulness to others and what we have received, fill your boxes with coins, even though they're in short supply, bills, and checks, whatever you are able to give. And we're going to carry this through the holidays, and our campaign will end Sunday, January 9th. Thank you very much. And thank you to Reverend Catherine Morn.
Thank you, Diane, for bringing this program to us. Not only do we have the collection plate, the collection boxes for guests at your table to take home, we have an offering for our own church. This congregation and the work that we do is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who contribute. The offering is a sacrament of the free church. You may place your donation on the plate on the way out or use the QR code on the screen or donate via our website. As we enjoy the music, the offering will be received. We're going to have the plates in the back of the room in grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and values. Was Forrest Halford, our member, who is thankfully given us some of his recordings. Our community has some news and announcements. So I'm going to go over that quickly. And last week, we introduced a suggestion box. So we appreciate your feedback. I was going to say civil and constructive, but Diane said, oh, just whatever. So we certainly do look at all of those and consider them. Please take the opportunity today to look at the bulletin board outside in the lobby. And there is a blast from the past in our social justice involvement through the years. So if you wonder what we have done, that will be on the bulletin board and be quite interesting. And maybe it'll give you an idea or inspiration for a suggestion. So please take time to look at that. Also, the proposed 8th principle is on the board. And a member of the 8th Principle Task Force will be available for the forward in the coming Sundays, today and in the future, to go over and answer questions about this 8th principle, which our congregation will be voting on in May.
Task force is all here today. Would you stand up? Natalie, Michelle, Tim, Dean, and myself.
Okay.
So one of us will be here after church to discuss that.
Yeah, I have mine. And also for Thanksgiving, we are pairing hosts with guests. So now, rather than have our normal potluck and Thanksgiving gathering, which I hope we will be able to do next year, this year we are going to have smaller groups so that you won't be alone on Thanksgiving. And please see Michelle and fill out the form, and there is a form to sign up so we can do the pairing, and hopefully you will have a happy Thanksgiving that way. If you have any questions about Unitarian Universalism or joining this congregation, please speak with a member of our membership team or our board president, Christina Kruger. And you can always email her at president@uubgky.org. And you can find more community news by reading the monthly newsletter and weekly email updates. We also have a website and a Facebook page. Our last hymn we sing now together. So everybody hum or sing through your mass, and let's make a joyful noise.
Sing out together our songs of thanksgiving, rejoicing in goods which the ages have wrought. For life that enfolds us and helps and heals and holds us and leads beyond the goals which our forebears once sought. We sing of the freedoms which martyrs and heroes have won by their labor, their sorrow, their pain. The oppressed befriending, our ampler hosts defending, their death becomes a triumph. They died not in vain. We sing of the prophets, the teachers, the dreamers, designers, creators, and workers and seers. Our own lives expanding, our gratitude commanding. Their deeds have made immortal their days and their years. We sing of community now in the making, in every far continent, region, and land, with those of all races, all times and names and places. We bless
be giving our final reading.
The choice to bless the world can take you into solitude, to search for the sources of power and grace, native wisdom, healing, and liberation. More, the choice will draw you into community, the endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the life of ritual and praise, the comfort of human friendship, the company of earth, the chorus of life welcoming you. None of us alone can save the world. Together, that is another possibility waiting.
Thank you, Jamie. Our new member. We now bid farewell to those who have joined us online. We hope you found this service meaningful, and we invite you to join us again. Be well and go in peace.